Welcome MegaWell team to another video. Today we're going to be looking at Wanchain, just doing a technical analysis. We're not going to be talking at fundamentals. For those of you who know me, I'm a huge Wanchain fan. I have been for a very long time. And we've made a lot of money on Wanchain, guys. Even though the price hasn't moved a lot, there's been some really good buying opportunities and some nice swings. And overall, has the price been disappointing? Of course, the price action has been disappointing, but all hope is definitely not lost. We're definitely by no means looking bad. Even with this short term, the last few days has tumbled back down to 70 cents. The long-term trajectory of Wanchain is still very much positive. And we're going to be looking at that today, and we'll cover it in a little bit more detail. And we'll show you the potential downsides and of course the long-term potential upsides. I personally do believe Wanchain is at least a bare minimum a top 50 coin, which will put it around $20. I know I did an analysis on Wanchain a while back with Wolves of Crypto, and we discovered that with using an icon fractal, we found that the projection was about $28. I personally do believe $28 is insignificant to what Wanchain can achieve, but there are definitely some barriers in place that the Wanchain team is dealing with. Particularly, I know one that's been brought up a lot is marketing. Marketing is a huge problem. But again, guys, we're not going to cover that today. Today, we're just looking at the technicals, looking at the chart, and trying to figure out what the hell's happening. So we'll get stuck into it. So let's take a look. So we've got our 3-day chart here. We're not going to use a log chart today, just a standard chart. We can see there's a huge pennant forming, guys. A massive resistance line that we've basically tested 3 times. So we've had our test here, rejection, we had our breakout, and a rejection, and then these last 2 here in the more recent days, rejection. So that's giving us a good sign that this trend line here is going to be a tough one to crack. And when we do crack it and stay above it and close above it, we're going to be over a huge data point, and hopefully it's sending us back up and into a new uptrend. So we'll take a look on a smaller time frame to start with, and we'll just break it up and go small time frame to large time frame. So we'll crack on down to about an hour. We'll see what's happening down here. Cool, all right, so what we're seeing over here is a classic symmetrical triangle. So we'll draw our lines in. Now a symmetrical triangle, if you have read the cheat sheet, the symmetrical triangle is neither a bullish or a bearish pattern. It can be a neutral pattern, and it can have bearish outcomes and bullish outcomes. So to illustrate that on the chart real quickly, we can see a drop down from the top side. We have our bottom, we have our top, we have our bottom. All right, from here we got 2 options. We can come back up, crack this level and break up, or we can come back up, crack this level and crash down. Another alternative is we just drop down here. So we do have a few options with a symmetrical triangle. What we're really looking for isn't the swings in between. We can of course trade these swings of tight stop losses, but we're looking for our breakpoints, and we're looking for either a retest of the triangle. So for example, if we did break to the upside, we would be looking for a retest to confirm this resistance is now support, a support resistance flip, and a push upwards, or vice versa, a drop below, a retest of that now new resistance line, and then continuation downwards. So what we're going to do, we're just going to look at the downside scenario to start with. So where do I think Wanchain will head? Now, if we expect Bitcoin to drop further down, which we do project about $43,000, I would expect Wanchain to drop down to this long-term support line. We'll go to a daily chart to show you it. I don't know why the computer's so slow right now. There we go. All right, so we've got our daily trend line. Now this is the long-term trend line, our support trend line for Wanchain. We've been holding this, and we formed it in March of 2020 during the COVID-19 crash. So we can see we've had some strong support along this trend line all the way up. A few little fake outs, nothing too serious. We held that support and actually found our bottom, as well as a nice bullish divergence here, which actually propelled us back upwards. Now that was our bottom on the 21st of August. So we're naturally going to expect this trend line to be retested again if the price continues downwards. So I would say the worst case scenario for Wanchain right now is we drop out of this symmetrical triangle that we've been forming the last few days. We come on down and touch about Conservatively, I'd say about 58 cents to 60 cents, maybe a wick below. But at the end of the day, we don't care about wicks, we care about where the candle closes. So we're looking at that level there. We can notice that we have our 70-cent support line. Now, our 70-cent support line is right now the most, I guess, the only thing holding Wanchain up before a crash down to that lower 50, high 50 zone, low 60 zone we were talking about. If we do break and fall below this 70 cents support line, we will drop down to these levels in a matter of days. So right now, personally, I'm not looking to be bullish on the short-term direction of Wanchain. I'm not looking to buy right now. I'm holding what little amount I have. I did sell a lot previously, particularly at the top here and in these pump ups over here. But I do have a little bit of Wanchain, and I will definitely be loading up some more if we come down to this level or if we have a continuation upwards. So first things first, setting some buy orders down at these levels here will be a great opportunity to try scoop low. Again, if we do end up cracking and closing below this line here, only then we're going to be worried. So we're not worried about Wanchain. Our long-term projections, which we will cover today, are still very much in play unless we close below this line. This is our long-term support line. It has to hold this price. There's a very high chance that if we come on down to that line, we will see a nice strong retest, hopefully a bullish divergence like we saw over here, only to send us back up. And we know that this long-term resistance is pinching over here. We don't have a lot of movement space. We're coming to the end of basically a 4-year consolidation, and the move upwards after that, guys, is going to be explosive. We've seen these huge wicks over here that just shot up, and we can see what can happen to Wanchain if we have a little bit of buy volume come in. Anyway, let's talk about the long-term direction, guys. That's what we think about is going to happen in the short term. We're looking for a drop down. Let's zoom out and look at our long term. So let's go back to our 3-day chart. All right, so our 3-day chart, where are our support and resistance levels? So we're gonna map out our most basic support resistances. So we're gonna map out our double top at about $1.24, and this will be our first, I would say, major resistance that we need to crack. We do have a smaller resistance down at, I think it was about 93 cents, guys. We brought the volume profile, 93 cents. Again, another really major resistance. We have a lot of sell orders. If we bring up our volume profile, we do have a lot of sell orders around this range. So we are expecting, did I bring it up? So yeah, we can see over here, we have a lot of sell orders around this range over here. We were expecting a bit of volatility coming close to there, and we do see we held that zone here, and when we finally dropped below, we crashed. So that's going to tell us basically that this 86 to $93 range, 93 cent range, sorry, is going to be a tough one to crack, but when we do crack, we'll shoot up. All right, so once we break that on $1.23, our next resistance is going to be the psychological support resistance of $2. Historically, the $2 range hasn't proven to be too much of a strong resistance. We don't have a lot of data on it. We only have 3 data points, which is here, where we found support for basically a whole month, actually, which is quite impressive. Then we have our resistance here. So we have about 2 or 3 data points, not a lot, but again, once we crack this long-term descending trend line, we will definitely shoot up. There's going to be a lot of volume coming in. All right, moving past that, our next support line we're looking for would be here. So this would be our base on our dip of the 10th of April 2018. Again, a $3 range. So there's even numbers. These psychological support and resistance levels are critical in Wanchain, it seems. So the next one we got is all the way up. We're going to say around over here is $5.20. And then of course we don't have much into the all-time high. So you guys can see how actually we might have a few in here, but it's very hard to tell because we don't have much data, guys. There's pretty much no data here. We've got like 2 or 3 months of data. It's not enough to infer where these support and resistances are. But we can see the majority of our resistance is where we are now, which is why the price is so damn suppressed. We've got so much resistance and so many sell orders down here, but as soon as we break past it, we've got almost nothing. Look at this. We got this whole space here where we're just going to shoot up. That's only a $5 range. It's crazy how much potential this coin has, guys, looking at the chart. It's unreal. It's one of the best looking charts, I think, on the macro. And it's like I said, it's definitely a sleeping giant. Wanchain is incredibly undervalued, and 150 million market cap is unreal for what they're doing and what they have and the technology they bring to a space of blockchain. Even look at the most recent partnership with Polygon. Polygon's a $16 billion company. It's 140 times the value of Wanchain, 120, 140 times the value of Wanchain. And I got Matic down at 2.53 cents. So I did 200x on Matic, and I definitely believe Wanchain is one of those ones that, if we can clear this resistance, we will definitely shoot up. So let's delete all this. Let's look at our fractal on Icon. Let's bring up the Icon chart. So we'll pump back to the week let's go weekly. All right. So we're going to take a look at the weekly on Icon, and we're going to take a look at the weekly on Wanchain. So we can see some pretty big similarities if we turn off log on these charts, right? Even this recent movement here, guys, it's a very similar move. Even though the Wanchain, we didn't have quite the push up, everything else has been very similar. The structure, the timing of these pumps, we can see almost identical. Even here on this top, almost identical. And the theory that we came up with, myself and Wolves and Crypto, is that Wanchain is currently a fractal of this part of the Icon chart. All right, Wanchain has never seen a proper bull run. This over here, guys, if you looked at my last video, actually the first video we did explaining the bull market, we actually haven't seen a proper altcoin bull market yet. So even this here, this huge pump, this was by far not a bull market. We haven't seen a proper alt season for the entire inception of Wanchain, which is insane to think about. So if we take a look, we're gonna assume that this here was, if we extrapolate onto Wanchain, that same fractal. So from the top of that, Icon did 167%. So we'll take that same fractal from the top of Wanchain, 167%. Is where we would have believed Wanchain to have reached, provided that it was around in the 2018 bull market. So it brings us to $28, guys. So long story short, Wanchain has massive potential to reach its all-time high again, which we believe, or I believe personally, is $28. So we've got a lot of potential here on Wanchain. Just to reiterate, I'm definitely not bearish at all on Wanchain, guys, unless we drop below that 57-cent range. Then we break that long-term support line, and then I'm bearish. Until then, I'm very bullish. I am not stacking yet. I will wait for either a confirmational break above that 93-cent range and then re-enter the market, or I will wait for a retest of that 58 to 60-cent range as confirmation and re-enter the market. So guys, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. If you want to get involved in selecting the next altcoin to go over, head over to the Twitter. We run weekly polls, and you can submit in the comments below which altcoin you would like to see next. This week we're going to cover, I think we got Ramp DeFi next, and we got Icon actually. So we're going to do another analysis on Icon, and we're going to do another analysis on Ramp this week. We're also going to do our educational posts, which are starting pretty soon, so stay tuned to those in the details below. If you've got any questions, again, leave them below. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, guys.